Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week. And let me say what a week it has been. Two big news stories. One, obviously, we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. There's a little bit of drama going on over this peace deal. Do we have it? Do we not? Latest news on that. Donald Trump, they had a big meeting on Friday, and they were going to determine whether or not they were going to agree to it. They ended that meeting without coming to a concession because everybody was happy but Donald Trump, and he's still not entirely happy. So he has made a couple of proposed changes, mostly around the wording, and that's being sent back to Iran. So in other words, negotiations are going to continue probably for another week. So everything is going to stay as is. So the Strait will not be open tomorrow, but maybe in a week. Hopefully. We'll have to see how the market's going to respond to that. But that will give us an idea, because later we're going to do bingo. We're going to choose our bingo pieces. So yeah, we've got that. The other big news, GDP data dropped. GDP data dropped for Q1, and it was in the negative. It came in at not deep in the negative, basically negative 0.1. Now, why that's significant is our Q4 GDP came in at -1. So that's two negative GDPs in a row. And you're going to hear the word recession thrown around quite a bit, because two consecutive negative GDPs in a row, that is the technical definition of a recession. So we have absolutely just entered a technical recession. It's not an official recession. It's a key distinction there. So right now it's not. One of the reasons that I guess we have a technical recession is that it's simple math. It is a simple math. It's simple. It's easy. Anybody can see whether we're in it. And yeah, it's simple, easy to measure, all of that fun stuff. And it's really easy for us to understand as investors. And as investors, we can handle a lot more complicated stuff. But it's also really easy for the media to understand. Unfortunately, though, you're going to probably see the media run with it a little bit. You might. Some of the downside on it is that GDP itself, it's only one economic measure. So when we look at an actual recession, there's more than just GDP going into it. So that GDP, it doesn't necessarily tell us, it doesn't tell us what's happening to things like jobs, incomes, spending, business activity. So and this is, let's try to clarify this a little bit. What's an official recession? So basically, the definition of an official recession is that it's a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy and lasting more than a few months. So the key words out of that, of course, are, significant, broad-based, persistent. And we're gonna kind of look and see if, do we think we've hit an official recession? Well, we're going to look at that as well. So an economy you could have a technical recession, but if you still had, for example, strong employment, we don't have that. Rising wages, actually the wages are okay, and healthy consumer spending, then yeah, that could happen. You could have a technical recession, but the economy could still be doing pretty darn good. So who exactly gets to make the call? And we've talked a little bit about this. I mentioned there is an organization. We're going to talk about them here in a second. They don't have the end all when it comes to calling it. In a sense, we're going to see a lot of people sort of pool together. So economists, major banks, government agencies, Even academic researchers will throw their 2 bits in on whether or not this is a real recession. And the closest thing we have is there is this one organization out there. It's called the C.D. Howe Institute Business Cycle Council. What a name! Can you imagine introducing yourself? Hi, I'm from the C.D. Howe Institute Business Cycle Council. Yeah, it's a long name, but their purpose is to specifically, well, it's specifically to determine when Canadian recessions begin and end. So, how do they do it? Well, they don't simply look at the GDP. They, of course, this is going to be beating a dead horse a bit, but they're going to look at employment. Are jobs being lost? Is unemployment rising? Well, we've been seeing, I would say yes to both of those personally. The GDP, is the economy shrinking? I say yes to that. How broad is the weakness? That's the one that's interesting. It's not across all sectors. It is more concentrated for sure. There are some sectors that are doing fine. So yeah, that's kind of that one little nuance there. Are Canadians earning less? Well, that's an interesting word. It depends on how you interpret it, right? Are we learning less? If we're looking straight at the math, no, we're not. We're earning more. But if you look at inflation, if you bring that inflationary approach into it, you could make an argument that Canadians are earning less. Yeah, they may have bigger paychecks, but their buying power, might be a little bit, it might be in the tank a wee bit. It might be in the tank. They'll look at households. Are households pulling back? That's a big question. I know that, I know my household, we're not spending, frivolous money. So there is a bit of a pullback. There's a little bit of responsibility coming in. I think a lot of households are in that same position. Then they're going to look at businesses. So our companies reducing investment? Once again, it depends on the sector. You could look at, and it's also very nuanced here as well, because when you look at Rogers, Rogers announced that, what was it, 10,000 people or so that they're going to get rid of. They're not laying them off, but more or less early retirement, all of this stuff. And, and we already know that that's them just doing it in a way that it doesn't draw attention, that they're just replacing them with AI. So that AI kind of complicates things. It kind of complicates things. What about industrial production? Is production slowing? Well, no, it really isn't. That's the one area that I think our industrialization is pretty strong. So that is another area, and that's where it's going to be a little bit hard to make this decision, this determination. Now, is this weakness, any of the weakness that we're seeing, this is where duration comes in. Is it lasting long enough to really matter? That'll be another question that's going to come in. So, as I mentioned before, the official call, so we're in a technical recession, but the official call, it's not going to come anytime soon. It's not like Monday the government's going to come up to the podium and say, sorry guys, we're in a recession. No, usually it takes months before they would even, and usually it's a few months after a recession begins that you will get the call. And why? Well, because they want to be sure. You don't want to just say the R word, because once you have an official recession, it can impact the market. It can impact the way people behave. So we want to make sure that they're confident. And keep in mind, this number is close. It's negative 0.1. They will probably at least wait until the first revision, because what if the revision pushes it up? Then all of a sudden, technical recession gone. So there is that possibility. So you're not going to get anything anytime soon. Basically, what at this point, investors are usually, we'll be discussing a recession long before it ever gets called. And in fact, even if we do go into a recession, as I mentioned before, markets usually recover before the recession is done. And right now, we're kind of in a situation where the markets are pretty darn strong. And could you imagine if we got an official recession, but the market said, we don't care. we're doing our own thing. That's going to be really, really, really interesting for sure. So that's kind of telling, and that's going to be that one thing I think that's going to. I think the fact that the market's so strong will mean that I don't think we're going to get the official recession call, and I think that market strength is going to come into that for sure. So yeah, there's, like I said, there's many things that can still happen. We still have, we'll see a revision. We'll see, maybe it gets revised worse, but there's always that chance that it does get revised up. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So what I would sort of say right now is, treat it like I wouldn't treat it like we're in a recession. I would treat it like we got an economy that's ailing for sure, 100%. Um, let's just see how it's all going to look. Now, the nice thing is, while the threat of a recession is over our head, the chances of the Bank of Canada hiking interest rates are very low, very, very low. So that's kind of really good for a lot of sectors. Actually, it's pretty good for utilities and REITs and things like that because they thrive in lower rate environments. Whew. So, in a nutshell, all that I've just said, my 12-minute rant is that, well, a technical recession, folks, it's a math problem. An official recession, nope, not a math problem, but more of a economic judgment call. So 2 quarters of negative GDP can trigger the first, but economists looking at jobs, spending, income, and business activity, that's all going to come into play. So for now, it's not time to get worried. It's let's just take it as it is for now. Let's see what happens. You're going to hear people throw around that recession word a lot, but don't let it bug you too much. All right, guys. Whew, there's my speech. let's get to the chat. JJ, Jonathan, I always, because of JJ, my mod, every time I see JJ, I just go, and this is Jonathan. Now, Jonathan says, am I late for a peace deal? You're absolutely not late for a peace deal. Oh, and by the way, guys, so we do have bingo later today. We're going to get that set up. I actually haven't cleaned the card off. I think I still got the stuff on it from the old. We'll just clean it off together when we get there. So we're going to do bingo a little bit later. And then after we pick our stocks for bingo, the next live stream we have will be when we actually play the game at market close. So the next market close. So we don't yet have a market close for tomorrow. So if you want a market close, the Financial Express is open. So if by the end of today, we have 4 supers, or maybe 4 gifted subs, or a combination, as long as it adds up to 4, then boom, bang, we add a show tomorrow, and we'll do the bingo for tomorrow. If we don't get a show tomorrow, then the next show wouldn't be until Wednesday, and we would do that on Wednesday. We do have, I will point out, let's just take worst case scenario. If we don't have a show tomorrow, now we still have Tuesday night, we have the after hours, but we're not going to do bingo on the after hours. Now, the after hours on Tuesday night, by the way, guys, it is available for everyone. It is absolutely open for everyone. So that's that one. So we come, we chill, we talk about whatever. Half the time, it's not even about finance. It's fun. All right. Now, before we go any further, we have a gifted sub from Samantha, and who is it? Impossible, or is that impossible? Yeah, impossible. All right. Congratulations. And guys, that is our first Goat Squad interaction. So let's throw some Goat Squads into the chat channel members. Let's throw those in there for Samantha. And here is our evil Monopoly Goat in the building. Loving it. So there we are. We're 1/3 or 1/4 of the way to a show for tomorrow. Congratulations, guys. I don't even know why I said congratulations, but hey, we'll go with it. All right, up next, Prairie in here. Afternoon community. Happy Sunday. Second in the house today. Nice. And there we go. There's a goat squad right there. Gursky says, hello, everyone. Just seeding canola and waiting for the show. Nice. Got to get that canola growing. Stan says, hello, all. And Kiev and Kaz says, good afternoon, gang. King of Day is in the house. Hello, all. Happy Sunday. Pouring rain in Calgary. Yes. So I've been talking, guys. Last week, I've been telling you guys about this, this big blocking pattern. So basically, you got the jet stream. You know, it's coming down and it's creating this big loop up. It's going way, way up to the north. And getting caught in this is basically Alberta. And I believe Saskatchewan is in it as well, and a little bit of Manitoba. And all of this hot air, hot, laden with water, Gulf air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. And it's just sitting there, ton of water, and it's bringing heat. It's bringing humidity. And if you're not lucky enough to get just the heat and humidity, you're getting a lot of rain. In some areas, 100 millimeters of rain over a few days. So there's going to be flooding, and it's not going to be great. So stay dry, King of Dre. Stay dry. All right, and yes, we are 1/4 of the way there, Nightbot. Good afternoon, says Samantha. I hope you are all having a good weekend. Yeah, absolutely. Grundy. Funny how macroeconomics seem to not matter to the Canadian stock market. That is so true, but it's not just Canada, Grundy. The U.S. market's doing the exact same thing. So the market is just, because you look, I mean, all the damage from tariffs and everything else, the U.S. just seems to be kicking it up into high gear. And I watched a video yesterday, measure that a lot of people don't look at, and that is the flatbed truckers they're getting paid more than ever, and they're in super high demand. Now, these are the ones that are carrying what? Well, you're not carrying goods for Walmart. You're carrying more or less industrial. You're carrying wood. You're carrying concrete. You're carrying steel. These are the ones that are really, really working. And what this is an indication of is that right now in the United States, there's a big shift into industrial and into building and into infrastructure. And we're seeing the same thing in Canada. And that's really, really interesting. I think that's a part of what's keeping the stock market going. You could start argue about AI, and yeah, AI is part of that industrial, because part of that industrial is what? Building data centers. We got some data centers that are going to be built up in here, and we have some that are active. But in the U.S., they're building them even more, faster, a lot of them. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And that kind of ties into this whole comment about that macroeconomics for sure. All right, Egypt says the top 1% have bunkers ready. That pretty much sums up the future. Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? If you're going to nuke us all, just do it. Just do it and get it over with. Nah, don't. I'm just kidding. Scott says, happy Sunday. Prairie, my daughter is keeping me company. Oh, nice. Oh, that's lovely. Reading her book, says hi back from Friday. Also says she loves the shirt. Yes, this this is our goat squad. This is the goat squad. Yeah, I love it. Prairie says, even if we were in a recession, the liberals wouldn't admit to it. Well, I don't even think it's going to be them so much, quite honestly. But I don't think anybody's going to admit. I don't think anybody wants to admit to a recession. If anything, this is going to be incentive for them to try to sort of get things moving a little bit faster. And I hope to see that. Paul is in the house with a good afternoon. Hey, Paul, how are you? XRP Bull says, should we expect the bank ETF drop this week, given Canada is technically in a recession? All right, so here's the thing. The banks, they did have a little bit of a sputtering this week. Now, this was their earnings week. Amazingly enough, they all did well on earnings. Like, they all exceeded expectations. All of them raised dividends except for CIBC. And CIBC also announced that they're pulling their banking out of the Caribbean. So it's an interesting mix. I think the banks might actually stabilize a little bit this week. So the technical recession, I think that I don't want to say the government mouthpieces, but I think there's going to be a lot of words coming out at the same time. Like, you'll have the press, you'll have some of the doom and gloomers on YouTube and things like that going on about it. Heck, even I watched a Meet Kevin video on the weekend, and he even brought up the Canadian technical recession. Kind of just not really that big in a big way, but I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine. I think the banks will be fine. And if not, if the banks do slide a bit, and obviously if that's the case, then yeah, the bank Evolve's bank ETF will certainly go down a little bit too. That's a buying opportunity. That's a buying opportunity for sure. It's the weekend, Ian. I don't have to worry about the bell today. Unless you're giving me, unless you're assuming we get a show on Monday and you're trying to give me a heads up that there's a bell tomorrow. Bismarcky, happy Sunday all. Hope everyone is doing well and enjoying the nice weather. Yeah, I think that there's going to be, I think the weather might be nice here. I haven't actually been outside. Today was, I basically spent most of the day scripting. So yeah, I'll be filming tomorrow, but it's actually the 0 to 100K time. So, Ian says, did you fall for my bell jump scare? No, not today. Not today. But it was worth a try because I could have. All right. Lisa is in the, there we go. Lisa's in the house. Well, hey, everyone. Hey, Lisa, how are you? All right. King of Day just realized Nokia is up 129.37% year to date. I remember the old days of Nokia phones. They have revamped their business currently AI driven. That's right. Absolutely. And guys, we're finally going to do it. Let's go. Here we go. So Nokia and OK. Here we go. So look at this. They were down, like they were actually down here on Friday. They were down by 2.88%. But don't let that fool you. Just take a look at the last year. So year to date is this big mountain right in here. Actually, where does it begin? It begins right about here. So yeah, this whole big ramp up. So they've gone from like $6 to $14.84. But yeah, there's been a big move towards AI and that their role within data centers, and that's certainly helping them a lot. Like we've seen a lot of these chip companies and companies focusing on AI. They've been exploding, and there's a lot of money to be made if you play your cards right. You could certainly make some money with these. All right, let's see here. XR people. Also, I am thinking to buy. I think you mean think. I am thinking to buy more Utes since utilities are good investments during recession times. Any other sector to consider for recession in mind, Candace? Okay. Once again, this is kind of that interesting thing. So if worst case scenario, let's say worst case scenario, we get a recession confirmed in a few months. Utilities, yeah, definitely. Consumer staples, that's another sector as well that tends to do good. REITs actually could be okay. It's hard to say. REITs are kind of weird. Like they're kind of not following their normal historical norm, and we've seen a lot of a change in REITs. But here's the other thing. I still think industrial is going to do really well. I mean, look at Bird Construction the last year. They've absolutely been, they've been owning the market. And I think a lot of companies in that vein are going to do really, really well. And I think that's going to continue, recession or not. Because even if we get into a recession, I can tell you right now, that's not going to make the liberals and Mark Carney stand back and say, oh, well, let's stop trying to get stuff built. No, they're going to continue with that. And I think that's going to continue to be a big push in our economy. Rory says, afternoon, is Ottawa promising to MOU to build boxes of red tape? A message of a memorandum of understanding. I hope not. I hope not. Industrial Rubber. Hey, you followed me on Twitter. I PM'd you. Thank you. You're extremely smart. Did I follow you? I don't know who I followed on Twitter, but all right. Thank you. Thank you. Randy says, Canada's stock market is driven by financial, so as long as the big six banks are earning, the Canadian stock market is going up. Yeah, absolutely. Finance is definitely one of the big areas. So finance, energy. Energy is going to stay up, guys, even if we get the Strait of Hormuz open. There is a shortage. This has created a shortage. The shortage isn't going away anytime soon. So energy will be high for probably at least a year, maybe even 2. That's also going to work in Canada's favor. Also keep in mind, as people get worried about recessions, a lot of times people start using gold as a hedge, so that could be extra good for gold. Scott, I think I got a little too much sun yesterday. Yikes. Well, hopefully you didn't get burnt too bad. Overcast here, spitting rain. Yikes, that's never good. All right, Paul, my cover call ETFs are all in the green in share price. So PLHI, YSTL, MSTE, CRCY, Bank, ICHI, QDAY, CMCL, CDAY, HDIV. Nice. That's a good string of ETFs. Lance is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. And, I actually caught up. Prairie says, M holding in VITL.UN is still in the red. .un is finally back in the black. All right. And King of Day says, let's hit the like button, guys, before Mary gets here. Yeah, let's do that. I don't have a clue where we are. Let's take a quick look at the like button here and see where we're sitting at. 23. There's 68 of you here. Let's get that to 50. While you guys are hitting that like button, I'm going to have my first little sip of coffee here. Whew, that's very good. I am enjoying that. All right. Now, I'm going to drop in a link here for you guys. All right, so this here is my affiliate code for Wealthsimple. And I'm going to be talking about Wealthsimple for a little bit here because, well, for, over the next little while. Wealthsimple is doing a couple of really big things. One of them is that monthly millionaire. And here, let me pull it up here. Let me try to pull it up here. All right, here, come on. It was accepting. Sorry, I don't understand. No, don't talk. Oh, darn it. What is, okay, I think it's working. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. Yes, it is working. Perfect. All right, give me a second here. Let's get in there. I'm going to show you guys here. All right, let's go in here. All right, so we got our monthly millionaire. And actually, here we go. We're going to go big screen for this. All right, monthly millionaire. So this is their new contest. It's actually pretty darn cool. So here's kind of neat. Right now, they're going to be giving away $25,000 here in 3 days, 18 hours, and 31 minutes. And that's going to go. So here's the schedule for June. We got 3 draws of 20. We got a $25,000 draw, a $50,000 draw, a $100,000 draw, and then $1 million at the end of the month. So, first of all, the odds of winning are better than 649, like a lot better, which is still, it's still going to be hard. I'm not promising you guys $1 million, but if you want a chance, that link I just dropped in the chat, you want to click on it, you head on over, And here's the best thing. When you fund your account over there, you get 25 bucks for free. So do I. The channel benefits as well. So it's a big win-win. Wealthsimple is pretty darn awesome. Now, if the contest isn't enough, the monthly millionaires, if that's not enough for you, do you want access to IPOs at their listed release price? Because if you look at an IPO, when it releases, let's say it's going to release at a $30 valuation, not a valuation, but let's say it's going to be listed initially at $30 a share. Well, a lot of times by the time the market opens and you can actually buy, you're probably looking at $31 maybe, depending on how much hype there is for it. Well, what this new service that Wealthsimple is going to do, they're going to allow you to access the IPO market before it launches. So meaning that you could put in a bid and say, all right, it's going to release at $30. I want 1,000 shares at $30. And they'll do their best to get that for you. And that way there, it's something that institutional investors have access to. Retail investors do not, but now with Wealthsimple, you do. So yeah, it's definitely something worth checking. Now, I mentioned as well entries. So let's go back to the contest again, because the big thing about this contest is that for using Wealthsimple, you get entries. So first of all, when you get into Wealthsimple, you register for it. It's just a matter of click saying I register. That's it. That's all it takes. And you get 500 entries. There is a video on YouTube that just talks about the contest and some of the new features of Wealthsimple. Quite literally, guys, all you have to do is jump into the video, go to the end. There's a QR code at the end. Click on that or take a picture of it. That'll give you another 500 entries. So there you go, 1,000 entries right off the bat. Then every dollar you put into Wealthsimple in any way, shape, or form gets you another entry. So for example, if you go take advantage, if you were to do 30 shares at 1,000, there's 30,000 entries right there for you. So, there's a lot of ways to get entries. The more entries you get, the better your odds are of taking home a cash prize. So very, very cool. I'm pretty excited about it. And, and quite literally, guys, how many entries do you have right now? I've only got 1,020. But how many do you have? Who has the most entries right now of you? Which of you has the most entries? I'm curious to know. All right, there we go. That's all I got to say on Wealthsimple at the moment. But I might bring it up again a little bit later in the stream because, we get people who come and go, and there might be completely different people here in an hour than the people who are here right now. All right, now let's go. Prairie says VITL.UN, which used to be Northwest Health. That's right, they changed their name. Any thoughts why it should be struggling where other REITs are slowly recovering? I figured healthcare would be more stable. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. I don't know what's happening with them. Yeah, healthcare is one of those areas. I'm pretty bullish on healthcare. One of the reasons for that is boomers. Boomers are getting to the age where they need a lot more assistance. And there's a lot of them. So that is going to make sure, that's going to keep health care on their toes. Now, mind you, it is a little bit different in Canada to the United States, because in the United States, we've got for-profit. Up here, it is more or less all publicly, paid for by taxes and such. But I think where you're really going to see is when you've got health care that, if, for example, if Northwest Health, if that REIT was only looking at, collecting rent on healthcare properties, that should be, or VITL now, that should be some pretty steady income. So let's hope after this whole change that they've had, let's hope they recover and get themselves back in gear. In fact, here, let's take a quick look as well, just to see how badly this has been. VITL, VITL, Vital. I love the name. Here we are, right here. So let's see, Vital Infrastructure Property Trust. And we'll pull up the thing here and take a look. Okay. This is actually not that bad. Just looking at them in the last year. Now, mind you that, there's been a name change, but overall, if you look at the overall average, it is moving up. It is moving up. So It's not that bad. Obviously, though, if you got in up here and you're looking at it down here, you're like, oh man, this sucks. Yeah, this current movement sucks a little bit. But when you look at the whole average over the last year, it's not that bad. Let's see, Rory. All the winners of the Wealthsimple will be in Ontario, not playing. I don't know if that's the case. I will say, a few years ago, actually maybe about 3-4 years ago, Wealthsimple had this other one contest, and I don't know if you guys remember High Rye. He was in Alberta at the time, and he actually won. He ended up winning $10,000. Now that was quite a while ago. Now that contest I think had to do. Now mind you, that contest had to do with referrals, and he was pretty good at selling Wealthsimple. So, he was getting a good number of referrals out there. And plus it was, a lot of people were brand new to investing at the beginning of the pandemic. So that certainly helped him increase his odds quite a bit. Well, definitely because he won. All right, King of Day says, I'm currently at 3,300. Nice. That's a good amount. Boy. All right. Yeah, guys, we are 1/4 of the way there. Ajak, I was hoping 3% cash back on Wealthsimple credit card. I don't know what it is. But yeah. Let's see. Chucks, I hold HHIS and QDay. Looks like QDay is doing better, especially with the removal of XLK. Which of them would you keep long-term for growth and income? I like ODTE strategy, long-term safety. I like them both. But here's the thing. I mean, QDay has just they've been owning it. Now, HHIS, yeah, they're tech heavy, but QDay's heavier on the tech. And right now with tech doing what it's doing, it's been doing really, really good. So if I could only choose between the two, oh gosh, I probably would go Q-Day in that case only, and it's just by a hair. It's by a hair. It's only because I do really love the management style over there at Hamilton. But I think if you chose one or the other, I think you're still going to be happy. I think both work really well. King of Day, the IPO access is nice. My issue is not being able to flip it or sell it within 90 days. If you do, you might be banned from future IPO participation. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is that one stipulation in there, guys. So as King of Day was mentioning, so with that IPO thing, yeah, you can get in, but you are locked in for a little bit once you bought it. Now, depending on what you're buying, like for example, with SpaceX, I'd be okay with being locked in for 90 days because, I have very long-term bullishness on where SpaceX will end up going. So yeah, I'm okay with that. But yeah, that is something. Always keep that in mind. Always read, always read the small print. Most people don't. And I'll tell you guys, with AI, it makes small print easier to read than ever. All you got to do is, when you get them terms of agreement, them long ass, it's like, yeah, this would take me half an hour to read. Just highlight the whole thing. Highlight it, drop it into your favorite AI and say, hey, can you quickly summarize the key points here and bring up anything that's important for me to see? And AI will do that for you. And that way there, you can at least you'll have a general idea of what's in your terms and agreement for sure. Prairie has almost 2,100 points. Nice. Hey, yep. How are you? 2,600, and your wife has 1,000. Nice. So there we go. There's 3,600 between you and your wife. That's great. Rory says I have 0 entries. All right, Rory. I'm fine. All right. Ooh, and Ponsible, 2,000, and congratulations, and Ponsible, for winning a channel membership today. Let's see. Thank you. Larry says we are in a war economy focus. Plenty of money to be made. Yeah, you're not wrong. you're not wrong. I mean, we don't have a resolution yet to Iran. There's still lots of time for that to go completely sideways. You've got Donald Trump eyeing Cuba. You know, I don't think it's something that's going to go away. I think the Cuba itch, I think he's going to have to scratch it sooner than later. So yeah, there is a bit of a war economy, and there is money to be made for sure. All right, King of Day, Wealthsimple credit card is a 2% cash back. Oh, okay. Let's see. If I look, let's see here. Bleak says, hey, all. And Rob says, Candace, did you notice that XMA has been doing poorly over the last 3 months? Yes, I have. I actually, I did add, was it 5? I think I added 5 shares to the 0 to 100K challenge, just because it has been down a little bit. Yeah, materials has had a bit of rough time during this war. And that's why XMA, that's what they hold. So if anything, I see this as just being, I see this as being a good buying opportunity for XMA. I have a lot of faith still in it. All right. JX says, I was hoping to replace my Rogers covered call. Rogers credit card, 2% cash back when I leave in September. All my internet services going with Oxio. Oh, I've never heard of Oxio. They must be a reseller. Karate Chick says, what's your top 5 ETFs for a beginner? That's a great question. It's a super great question. It's also an interesting question. I'll tell you why. The reason it's interesting is it really depends on what your goals are as an investor. So if you're young and you're just starting, well, your main focus is going to be on just dividend growth. You know, you want to just grow. You want the power of compounding. Over the length of, if you've got like 20 years ahead of you, if you got 30, 20, 30, 40 years ahead of you, you want to be growing. You're not going to be super focused on the bigger dividend companies. I mean, sometimes younger people do get focused on them. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you really want to max out the math, you're probably looking at dividend growth at that point. If you're older and you're heading to retirement, well, at that point, you probably are looking like, if you've got, I would say, 10 years or less of a runway left, you're probably in the prime spot for growth income, which is where you have a little bit of growth, still growing stuff for you. But at the same time, you're starting to build up that income. You're starting to get it together, because once you get into retirement, and that's where the other part comes in. Once you're into retirement, at that point, and this also can depend. I mean, most people going into retirement are going to want income. You're going to want to, get your TFSA just pumping out a nice stream of income every month that's tax-free. Now, there are some seniors, like, depending on, when you hit retirement. I mean, if you've had a really successful life and you've got more money than you can shake a stick at, then you're probably not looking at setting up income. Why would you? You're basically looking at continuing to grow, because at that point, you're no longer growing for your retirement, you're growing for generational wealth. So that's another option as well. So, okay, with all of that said, if we're going to go right back to the beginning, so let's say, for example, you're looking at dividend growth, then you're just looking for, honestly, if you're a beginner, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it to the point. So things, for example, like an S&P 500 ETF. You got a whole bunch of different ones that you could choose. Maybe an all equity. All equity are pretty good, and there's like quite literally a lot of them you can choose. I got tons of videos on my channel on all of these. So now, if you are in that hybrid area, there's a lot of really good ones out there. Like some of the Hamilton ones are really good in that area. And, if you give me more information, I can probably narrow things down a little bit more for you. But, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting getting started, no matter what age you are, because it is kind of a whole new world. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't stop. I learn something new every day. Every day I learn something. And you will too. I mean, obviously, if you're brand spanking new, you'll probably, hopefully, learn more than one new thing a day. I would say maybe 5 or 6 new things, hopefully. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there is a lot on the channel. So on the channel, just video wise, I do have, what are good stocks for beginners or good ETFs for beginners. It is all there. There's so much content to peruse. There we go. All right. And Possible, thank you for the membership. Larry says, first Trump-class battleship used USS Defiant starts production in 2028, which makes perfect sense when setting up production from scratch. Okay, a Trump-class battleship. Now, I'm just wondering what's going to define it. Is it going to be made of gold? I had to say that. Paul, SpaceX IPO, no access IPO prices at Questrade. When SpaceX starts trading, is there no pre-market the first day? I.e., add 200 to my Questrade custom index TFSA and exactly 9:30 a.m. hit invest in index. That's a great question. I don't know how Questrade is handling it. A lot of times you don't get pre-market on an IPO, but if you use like this new thing that Wealthsimple's doing, that's kind of the one way you can get in there. I don't know if they have something similar to that at Questrade. That I don't know. Bismarcky, top 5 ETFs for a beginner, might make a good video. Yeah, absolutely. I'll do it again. I know I've done it before, but yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. All right. Karate Chick is 31 years old. Nice. And breaking boards. No, I don't know. Maybe you're breaking boards. I always thought that was kind of cool, breaking boards. I learned, it's actually funny. So I started to learn a little bit of karate from a former roommate. Now, he was a blue belt, so he wasn't that high up, but he was like, I'll teach you the basics. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we were doing some sparring, and every so often he tries to show off, and he was trying to show off. So I was just like, all right, I can't, there's nothing I can do with, all of his handwork. So I was just kicking down at an angle, and I don't know how I accidentally caught him in the side of the knee. He went down. I felt so bad. I felt bad about it, but at the same time, I was like, seriously, and he kind of realized that, he shouldn't have been showing off. But yeah, no, he had a limp for a while from it. I still feel a little bad about it. Well, I mean, it's many years ago, but still. Yeah, that was the end of my of my karate training. So, I did not make it to white belt. I made it to no belt. Let's see. Rory, yes, it would. H Yield and Bank pay on Friday. Nice. Let's see. Enbridge and Canadian Utilities for me tomorrow. Oh, nice. Happy Sunday, everyone, from Doorpat. Rory says bridge. Bridge. I like bridge. I used to so long. Like I learned how to play bridge when I was a teenager, and I had somebody who I could play bridge with back then, but then my entire adult life I've had nobody I could ever play bridge with, so I don't even know if I can remember it. I probably, if I sat down and watched it a tiny bit, I'd pick it all back up pretty quickly, I think. All right, Prairie says, if you look at Vital over 5 years, you'll see they were much higher historically, flat since they cut the dividend back in 2024. Yeah, no, absolutely. Here, let's go to we're still here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. But that's the thing. I'm just looking at recently, like this is not a bad movement, at least, since about 2023. But yeah, no, absolutely. And also keep in mind, during this time as well, you had aggressive rate hikes. So that was driving the price down. So there was a lot of factors that led to this, and REITs have been slow to recover. Like REITs normally REITs would have actually recovered a lot faster than they have been. But we're kind of seeing where people are just they're not looking at REITs for income anymore. And you know why? What's the difference between the past and now? Well, now there's a lot of options. If you want income, there's a lot of options. REITs are not really that good when you look at covered calls. When you look at covered calls and you look at the bigger incomes you can get, that's kind of stealing the REIT's lunch. The REIT's lunch has been stolen by covered calls. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just that's just a reality of what's been happening. Yeah, Nightbot, we are 1/4 of the way to adding a show tomorrow. Larry says Wall Street Bets is pumping up Space Virgin Galactic 200%. Oh my God. I can't believe that Wall Street Bets is still trying to pump people up. Space Virgin Galactic. Well, why not? All right. Karate says, I prefer roofing tiles over boards. Yeah, I imagine roofing tiles might be a little bit easier to break. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the difference. Other than, well, yeah. Ugh, look eye, always look eye. All right. SpaceX per Gemini, the first day of trading, you might not happen from 9:30 a.m. to 12 due to Nasdaq IPO cross process. AI said, watch for last trade. Okay. Show me sand the floor. I'm done. Sand the floor. Rory, I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm just saying, sand the floor. QQCL versus QDay. Ooh, oh, yeah, this is a good one. This here is a good one. In fact, I feel like I just did this in one of my list videos, but I like both of these funds quite a bit. So QQCL, yeah, they've got a pretty hefty dividend as well. I think here's what I would say. I think you're going to get more of a growth component on QDay than you're going to get on the QQCL. So here, and let's take a look. QQCL, here we go. All right, there we go. And I'm going to bring up here, just going to duplicate this tower, QDay. All right, perfect. All right, here we go. QDay, and I want to just look at the last 3 months. I want to look at this here. This is that big growth that we've had. All right, so we're going to go over here. We're going to go to the 3 month as well. Yeah, and they look pretty darn close. So in this case here with QQCL, you went from 22.30 to 27. So you went up about $5. Oh, this is nice because their price is pretty close. In this case here, you went up from about $21 to $30, so you went up about $9. But they both came into this with very similar prices. Normally, we have to actually do a bunch of math to actually calculate total returns. But I can just, by eyeballing this, I can tell you right now, QDay has the better total return on that. So you're going to get a little bit more of a growth component because QDay, now they hold Hamilton's Technology Champion ETF, and it's a really good ETF. So I would choose out of the two of those, I would probably lean towards QDay just for that extra bit of growth. And yeah, Paul says QDay will capture more upside because it resets at the end of each day. Rory, just quoting Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid, didn't work out too well. Oh, right. Wax on, wax off. I got it.
Glad you've got it handled.
Okay, how did I manage to trigger the A word? I don't know. Scott says, interesting. I just noticed I have 2 credit transactions in my Scotia iTrade non-registered account totaling $175 marked as fee. Have you ever seen anything similar? I don't know, but yeah, I'm wondering if there's any. Does Scotia iTrade have like a minimum account balance fee or something? So yeah, I have no idea what that would be. I've never used Scotia iTrade, so very, very interesting. Paint the Fence. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi. Yes, Paint the Fence. That was a good movie. Gursky says, are you going to buy into B-Day when it drops? I like B-Day. I like the whole concept of it. And in a way, I'm gonna see what happens, but I may like it better than HBTE. Now HBTE is doing fine. But I really like this whole idea of B-Day. And you know what I'd like to see? I know we don't have it yet, but I'd like to see like a fourth day max. You know, like one day max to rule them all. That's what I want to see. But we haven't, you know, they haven't obviously announced anything like that. But it'd be nice to have one that would just hold all four. I don't know if that's in their plans or not. The Karate Kid, yes. And of course, you know, and I like, they made a remake of it, but I prefer the, you know, the old one, you know, with Ralph Macchio, is that his name? Because I thought that one was just really, really good. You know, I know there was I think, well, was it Will Smith's kid, Jaden Smith? Is that who it was? I think he did a remake. I think they did a remake with him, but I still like the old one better. All right, time for some coffee. Oh gosh, that is so good. Whew. Now, guys, we do have, and let me get it, let's actually start getting it caught up. Let me get it in here for you. Oh, I think I can just type in bingo here to go to it. There we are. Here's our bingo. All right, we do have to remove the old ones. We do. This is the one from last time. Here we go. Excuse me. All right, let's. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can just drag these off. There we go. We won't need those until tomorrow. That's for the marking. So last time we failed. We failed last time. But we will be doing it again here momentarily. So the way bingo works, guys, is you guys in chat, you're going to get to make some predictions. Companies and the direction that they're going in. Are they going up tomorrow? And this is we use the market close. We use the market close data. So once the bell hits, we'll use that. We'll be able to use that data to just sort of say up or down. And there we go. I think that's. I got enough of these. I can just delete these. All right. And if we get a bingo, what we do is we add a show. We add a show. It goes into the banked section. So anytime we miss on the Financial Express, oh God, I got a little tickle in the back of my throat. I don't know where that came from. So yeah, anytime we miss on the Financial Express, if we've got a banked show, we just throw that in, and that adds a show right there. So this is a chance to just win a banked show, and it's a lot of fun here. And we'll start this here in a moment. Let me just empty this board. Here we go. Oh, I apologize. I thought I hit the mute didn't take right away. Okay. All right. All right. We will start. We're going to start. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, let me get caught up with with chat first. Rory, Danielle's son. Canny versus C-Day. C-Day, 100%. 100%. Canny has been doing better. Canny has finally been doing what it's supposed to do, but C-Day has just been on fire, and you're getting that growth in there as well. And keep in mind, you're 31, so you want that growth. So if you're going to go with a little bit of income, then C-Day would definitely be the better one. Scott, no, they paid me $175 and marked it as fee. Trust me, my balance is way over any minimum. Okay, they paid you. Do you have stock lending on, maybe? I don't know. I would almost, you know, it's one of those things where I'd say, like, ask them, but at the same time, you don't want them to take it away. Bonsai. Bismarcky, same time frame. QDay up 48.67%. QCL up 34.36%. All dividends reinvested. Yeah, and I did recently. I did a video recently where we went through this. Let's see. This is strange, Scott. I should check TD for any similar actions. My daughter says the remake was the Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. Yeah, Jaden. Yeah, there we go. Rory says, I'm way over the limit as well. TSL. Oh, Tesla up. All right, we got our first one. We got our first one here. All right, let's grab, we'll grab our letters here, and this is going to be TSLA, and it's going to be an up. There we go. We got our first prediction. Awesome. All right, a minimum, not limit. Loblaws. Loblaws will be up. All right, well, let's go with, oh, this will be easy. I just have to get rid of the A and the SL. There we go. All right. All right, we got Loblaws up. We're just going across. We're going across this way, guys. So, so let's see here. We got a couple up. So Tesla up, Loblaws up. All right. Paul is saying CMCL up. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. Whoops. All right, come on, guys. All right, boom. All right, all right. So CMCL. All right. Oh boy. Well, you guys are expecting a pretty green market, I think. Rory, if my account has a limit, I got problems. Prairie says WCN down. Okay, all right. All right, let's do that here. All right, WCN. Waste Connections. And we'll bring in our down arrow. There we go. All right. Bismarcky, did everyone receive the bread rebate? I didn't. Did you actually participate in that class action, Bismarcky? Rory says, well brought up. TA, Extendicare up. Oh, they've been doing so well lately. That might be an easy one. That might be an easy one. All right, let's see here. All right, and we'll put our up in here. All right, I'm gonna give mine, guys. I don't know if you guys have done. I always do one. I want to do it right away, just to get it out of the way, guys. This time, I'm gonna come in with Hammond. Whoa, let's see here. There we go. And I'm gonna go with an up. All right, so there is my pick. My pick is Hammond. So my pick is now done. All right, we got Paul saying C-Day up. All right, let's. All right, C-Day. Here we go. All right, C-Day up, and I do need. All right. We'll give you an up arrow on C-Day. All right, there we go. All right, Lance says BCE down. All right, let's see here. Whoops, all right. Ooh, you know what I'm going to do? Let's try, ooh. Oh, this might, oh, I was going to say this might work better, but it apparently didn't. All right. Oh, no, it did move. Never mind. All right, BCE. It looked like it had disappeared for a second, but there it is. All right, BCE down. Rory says BlackBerry up. Yeah, that was going to be mine. I was going to do that, but then I was like, nah, Rory likes to throw in the BlackBerry. So there we go, BlackBerry and up. All right, holy banana bread. All right, Rob says, Candace, what are your thoughts about CRSR? Apparently, AI has had an impact on the company where they will be building out AI computers and servers. The stock is a good candidate for a short squeeze. Ooh, let's take a look here. CRSR. We'll be back here to the bingo in a second, guys. All right, CRSR. SR. So here we are, Corsair Gaming. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. I'm just gonna pull up the 1 year. Oh boy, look at this. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting here. So all right, so let's take a look here. So basically, yeah, you got technology for gamers, content creators, PC enthusiasts. All right, and that's interesting. So you're saying, short squeeze. I don't know though. You know what? I don't know if people are putting shorts on this one right now. Maybe they were. Maybe that's what happened here. I don't know. But because yeah, they had been moving down. Well, you know, no, it sort of changed around a little bit here about middle. Well, not the middle, but towards the end, roughly the middle of March. They've been on a move to the upside. So I would not. I wouldn't be putting a short. I would not throw a short on SR. Because yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. Let me take a look here. I'm kind of curious here if they had earnings or something in there to explain that, or if it was just the whole AI thing blowing up there. All right, CRSR. Let's pull it up and take a look. Nope, they did have earnings. Yeah, they had their earnings come in. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Like, all right, on their earnings, they beat by 64.10%. Revenue 22.66%. Yeah, I would not be. This is not a candidate for a short squeeze. I would not short them. I would not short them. All right. Now back to bingo. We got Paul. Let's see. Dell up. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, let's bring this over here. And hey, dude, got a Dell? All right. There we go. So we got Dell up. And Kelly says, got my almost $50 bread mafia payment. Oh, geez, you know what? It's funny, guys. I got in on one class lawsuit many years ago. It was the Microsoft one. So there was some kind of issue with Microsoft overcharging on something or another, and there was a class lawsuit if you had Windows during a certain period of time. And I was like, I think I had Windows during that time, so I threw my name in and said, well, I told them, best of my knowledge, I told them what I had, because you didn't have to provide any proof. And I got like, I think I got about $21. I got a check for $21 from it. And I was just like, really? Okay. All right. Ian says, I think you mean Ichi, E-C-H-I. I think that's what you mean, Ian. If I'm wrong, let me know and I'll correct it. But I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Ichi in there. All right. Oh, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna try the two together once again. All right. Yeah, it worked. All right. Perfect. All right. Ichi up. All right. And we got the Nightbot. The Nightbot's not giving me a guess, but it's letting us know that we are 1/4 of the way to a show tomorrow. Rory, I didn't see any bread yet. King of Day says Palantir up, and so does Paul. It's a tie. You both said Palantir. All right, so we'll put Palantir up. All right, let's. All right, let's. All right, there we are. All right. PLTR. All right, we got Palantir up. And Roku's in the house. Hey, Roku. And we've got Xanadu up. All right. Ooh, can I just... There we go. Yeah, I can, because it was the same one. All right. I can tell you guys right now, if we have a really bad red market tomorrow, we may all be screwed. But then again, maybe we're playing on Wednesday. I don't know yet. We don't have a new show yet. So, Prairie says CNR up. All right. Ooh. Why did it put it all the way over there? All right. Let's go CNR. All right. CNR up. Astro Easy is up. Oh, boy. All right. Let's grab Easy. All right. Okay. Ian says, I got something from Wealthsimple paid back. I think they called it a fee. It was like a fee reimbursement. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's what it is. Maybe with Scotiabank, maybe they overfeed you on something and they were returning it. Maybe that's what it is. Interesting. All right, Chucks thinks Dollarama's going up. All right, let's do this again. All right, now we got, this time it's going to be Dollarama. All right. Dollarama up. Conway, Ian, it was in a managed RRSP that I got the refund. Okay, all right. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Suncor down. All right, all right. Well, you know, if we actually have a good green day, oil will probably be down. So, you know, it fits with the theme. Samantha says, pets down. Get down, doggy. Get down, doggy. That's what I'm saying. All right. Whoops. Whoa, what just happened there? Oh, it's somehow tight. All right. All right, there we go. SU. Yeah, we had something weird happen there. All right, I'm just gonna, yeah, here, there we go. Let me try this one more time. There we go. All right, now we're good. All right, pet down. All right, we got 6 more, guys. All right, Anujan says BlackBerry up. We got that. It's already right over here. BlackBerry up. We got BlackBerry already. Paul, I got the computer class action lawsuit a year ago, maybe over $100. Oh, nice. Paul says Q day up. All right, let's. Whoops, I just did 2 of them. All right, let's do it this way. All right, so Q day up, and Kelly says IVN down. All right. All right, here we go. All right, IVN down. We got it. Lance is saying MU down. Ooh, that could be a bold one. Uh-oh. Did it do? Oh, it did that weird thing again. Oh, you know what it was? I was probably still in the IVN. Let's jump out and try it again. There we go. Okay, here we go. And this is going to be MU down. Okay. Wow. That's a bold one. That's a bold one, but it could be right. Paul says CRCL up. All right. All right, let's grab this. Let's grab this. All right. There we go. So CRCL up. Okay. And Paul says, not touching MSTE. Scott says, I don't bother with the bread class action lawsuit. I figured it would end up being like $5. What was the actual payout? Good question. I don't know. Prairie says ENGH down. Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Let's just grab. All right. ENGH and MU up. We got MU down. You can't have them both. You can't have both. All right. ARM up. All right. What is? All right. Let's grab that. I'm not. I'm like, what is ARM? Well, we're gonna find out tomorrow. All right. Now. All right. Now here, guys, we can we're gonna do one more. Now I was gonna say, should we do Paul's QCOM? But you know what? Yeah, well, it was the next one. It's the fairest way to do it. So I'm just gonna change this to a QCOM up. So this is our wild card. So this here is our wild card. So if we almost get a bingo and we're just off by one, if we're one away, we can use QCOM. We can use QCOM to get a bingo. So simple as that. QCOM is our wild card. So there's our wild card. We got our card. We are ready. We're ready for tomorrow. And as we move a little bit further ahead, Samantha's in again with a super sticker 149. Guys, that releases our Bay Street GOAT. Thank you very much, Samantha. And we're halfway to adding a show for tomorrow. Simple as that. Holy banana bread. It's that easy. All right, we got our bingo. I'm going to have some coffee, which is like a bingo, but more delicious. That is so good, and I'm not going to forget to unmute. Larry says, GameStop down because G-Gens are gambling on space. Well, maybe. There's a lot of money going towards space. Roku, Carney announces Canada's refreshed national artificial intelligence strategy next week. Who are the Canadian company winners? That's a good question. That is a great question. I think the quantum companies will win as well. So I think this is good for a lot of different companies. So it's kind of interesting. Like, I can't think of maybe one Canadian company right at the forefront of AI per se, because a lot of it is the big US companies. But I think it'll filter into things like Xanadu. I think even BlackBerry might benefit from it as well. So it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. So I can't think of anyone that's specifically all AIs. Now, maybe one of you guys has something in your mind. If so, drop it all in. Scott says, too much talk about easy. I'm over easy. TELUS going into AI. Yeah, you could even argue TELUS and Bell are both going into AI data centers. So yeah, you could even argue things like the Hammond companies. You know, you need a lot of power. That's what Hammond does. So, Hammond Power Solutions might benefit as well. Kelly, I really hope the market is as optimistic as those bingo picks tomorrow. I hope so. Now, mind you, we're only halfway. We don't know if we have a show tomorrow, but I mean, we still got like a good hour here to figure that out. Let's see, Carney's Catering going up. Oh boy. King of Day went to Dollarama 2 days ago. It's not a dollar store anymore. No. I think you need to pass a credit check to get into Dollarama nowadays. Rob says, Candace, back to CRSR. The definition of short squeeze is that anyone that was shorting CRSR has to buy back their shares, and hence, as a result of them buying back, everyone who is buying shares are forcing a short squeeze. Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing. I don't think what we're seeing was a short squeeze. They've been doing really, really well. Like, they've been doing well for a bit. Like, look at this. Let's go back here. Pretty much they've been on an upward trend since about February. So, why would anybody be doing a short squeeze on them? Like, I don't see a lot of people shorting them right now. Because, yeah, you could, with a short squeeze, yeah, a short squeeze could cause a pump like this, absolutely. But we already have an explanation for this pump. They had a great earnings report, like a really good earnings report. So I don't see it. Like, I just don't see anybody shorting this company. Now, they may have been shorting during this phase. Yeah, absolutely. During this phase, yeah, maybe. And maybe I'll even say, yeah, maybe if somebody has some really long shorts on them, maybe they're still, active moving into this phase. But for the most part, I don't see them as a target, at least not anymore. A Sky, HDiv up. Yes, well, we already got them, but that would have been a good one. That would have been a really good one, guys. Rob, so let's all buy CRSR and create a short squeeze. I don't think that would work though, Rob. To be honest, I just don't think that would work at this point. I don't think there's a lot. Like I said, there might be somebody, there's probably people who short things anyway, just for the heck of it. But I don't see it. Let's see, Rory, EIT, no change, but the bingo board is full. There we go. MSTE down. That might have been a safe bet lately. Neil says cake. ARM. Let's see. I don't mind MSTE. Pays me $3,000 per month. What is cake? You know what? I'm sitting here. I'm like, is cake actually a ticker? Because that would be a great ticker. Yeah, the Cheesecake Factory. There we go. There's also Radio Fuels Energy on the CSE. But yeah, the Cheesecake Factory. Oh, that's right. That's right. All right. Income says, I don't mind MSTE. Pays me $3,000 per month. And yeah, guys, we are halfway to adding a show tomorrow. Roku says, read the bread payout. I read a lot of people got about $49.11, which is what I got. Gosh, I should have joined the bread. I should have joined the bread payout. And that's a funny thing. A lot of these class actions, like quite literally, it's not like they're going to go through it. They don't go through a lot of, you have to prove a whole bunch of stuff. Normally you get your name in there and you get a check. It's quite that easy. Paul, since May 20th, MU plus 26%, ARM plus 39, QCOM plus 24, RDW plus 24, Palantir plus 15, A-Lab up plus 21, and AMD plus 14%. Some of the top performers so far. Yeah, pretty cool. Rory, Capital Power is targeting the booming global demand for artificial intelligent infrastructure by offering gigawatt-scale reliable electricity for hyperscaler data centers. That's not bad. That's not bad. That could be very good for Capital Power. I don't know if we're going to see anything here yet. I think it's CPX. CPX. I should have just typed in the CPX. We're seeing a little bit of movement, at least lately. Let's just take a quick gander. Yeah, look at this. We're getting a little bit of movement to the upside. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this. I've always liked Capital Power. ARM, $45. Love it. Cake is also the crypto symbol for Pancake Swap. Oh, yeah, there we go. That makes sense. That makes sense. Eject. Microsoft Office lifetime license only $130, or don't live under a rock and use, is that LibreOffice? Okay. I will admit, guys, I do have Microsoft Office. That's just because I'm addicted. I don't want to say addicted, but I'm addicted to Excel. Now I do pay once a year. I remember the olden days when you could just buy it and hold it forever, but those days seem to be gone. So, but I like my Microsoft Office, and there are free options for sure. I grew up on Microsoft Office. I know it very, very well. So it's kind of like, do you want to go to a new one where you kind of don't know it that well? Yeah, it's kind of that fun thing. It's that fun thing for sure. But what can I say? Oh, well. All right, guys, I'm going to mention this once again. I know earlier in the stream I did mention Wealthsimple. They've got a contest coming on right now. So, guys, if you are not yet on Wealthsimple, let me give you my referral code. Get your butts over there, folks. Because if you don't get over there, you can't win. So it's called Monthly Millionaire. So they've got 4 draws in June. They got a draw coming up in about 3 days for $25,000. another draw for $50,000, and another draw for $100,000, and then $1 million at the end of the month. And how do you get entries? Well, you just do stuff on Wealthsimple. You know, you buy a stock, you get entries. If you buy a $100 stock, you get 100 entries. In fact, when you sign up and get your butt over there, first of all, just register for the contest. That gives you 500 free entries. There's also a quick video you can watch on YouTube that'll give you another, well, it's not a quick video. The video is an hour. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just scroll through and click on the QR code at the end. That'll give you another 500. So there's 1,000 you can get right away. And quite literally, guys, the odds of winning this $1 million is less than winning 649, like considerably less. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but if you're not over there using Wealthsimple, you got no chance. So just give it a shot. If you're not over there, it doesn't hurt. And quite literally, guys, when you use my link, once you've once you've funded your account, I think once you've got $100, I think it's $100. Once you put $100 on your account, they give you $25 free. They throw $25 back at the channel for free as well. But quite literally, it's a really good broker. It's commission free, and everybody's using it. So definitely something to check out. All right, Paul says Microsoft Office for Mac. Correct. It is Microsoft Office for Mac, for sure. And quite literally, I can also use it on my iPad, so that's kind of cool too. Rory, I bought CPX at $36, so it's doing well for me. 36. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because look at this. Yeah, you've almost doubled your money. You've almost doubled your money there. Kelly, what is POW on TSX going to do? Just keep floating along? I think Wealthsimple is getting more popular, and I think they own lots of the shares. So yeah, so Wealthsimple is not a publicly traded company yet. But when it comes to private investment, Power Corporation of Canada, so POW, they hold the biggest investment. So yeah, they're invested big time in Wealthsimple. But you got to keep in mind, though, POW is invested in a lot of different things. So it's not a situation where if Wealthsimple does good, it automatically means POW does good, because obviously POW has other investments. If they're not doing as well, that can sort of limit things. But let's actually take a look at POW. We haven't looked at Power Corporation in a while. All right, here we go. Power Corporation. So they were actually up the other day, 2.258%. And I'm going to pull up the 5-year on them. So here's the 5-year. This is not that shabby. So I don't know. I think, Kelly, I think your definition of floating along and mine might be a little different. I mean, yeah, they were about $32 back in 2022. So they are doing okay. Now, I will say though, sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you do need to zoom out. Sometimes you need to zoom out to take a look at a stock. This is the 5-year chart. Because if you look a little too close, like if you look at the 5-day, you'll be like, oh, look at that. Yeah, that looks like they're floating along, doesn't it? 5 days, it looks like, yeah, well, okay, they had this nice little thing, but look at this. Look at this. There's nothing going on. Let's look at the month. Okay, you start to see something on the month a little bit. That's movement in the right direction. Then you go to the 3-month. Okay. You know, you go your 6-month. Oh, well, you got that. You got, but that's normal. That's normal. I wouldn't be super worried about it. Quite literally, this is actually, here's their 1 year. Yeah, this is not bad. This is not bad. All right. Now, Paul says, I only use Google Sheets now, as I do not use Windows since, let's see, October 14th, 2025, when Windows 10 ended support. You could have signed up for extended support, which I did. I still switched to Linux, thinking of erasing Windows 10. Yeah, you know what? I've heard a lot of people say they like Linux. For me, I have my entire ecosystem is Apple, and one of the reasons, of course, is I'm a content creator, so I can edit videos really fast on my Mac Studio. I wouldn't even want to try. I don't know if I'd even want to try to edit a video on a Windows machine. And I'll tell you right now, I have no idea of what it would be like on a Linux machine, because I will say this, I have never used a Linux machine in my life. It's never happened. Prairie says, I like LibreOffice. GIMP as a Photoshop replacement. Yes, I remember GIMP. I had to use GIMP when I was the training. I used to be a training manager back at a company called Uniserve on the West Coast. And yeah, they wanted me to use things like GIMP, the free stuff. And I was like, no, I know Photoshop. And that's the thing. Like sometimes it hurts. Like if you have to use a product that you're like, the competitor so well, and it's like on Photoshop I could do this in 5 minutes. On GIMP, it's going to take me 5 minutes just to figure out that I don't know how to do it on GIMP, and then another 20 minutes to watch videos to try to figure out how to do it. I kind of look at it that way. But I've had situations like that. Ian says, what happened to POW? If Wealthsimple goes public, what happens to POW? Do they automatically own a bunch of Wealthsimple shares? Bingo. Would POW get a crazy bump? Kind of a follow-up of the previous question. Not necessarily. It depends on what Wealthsimple does, and it also depends on POW's other holdings. I wonder, guys, because I don't know this. Let's see if we can find out. Candace Google stuff. We're going to Power Corporation of Canada. All right, here we go. I'm wondering if we can actually get a bit of a breakdown. All right, because yes, like let's see here, Power. They own a lot of they own a lot of insurance. Boop-a-doo-boo. Okay, so yeah, let's see. And I'll go to investors. Let's just go to dividends, total shareholder returns, analyst coverage, event, reorganization. I'm going to go to their investor hub initially. Let's just take a quick look here. All right. I've never really had to dig deep into here. Group companies. Okay, let's go to group companies. GBL, Standard, Great West, so publicly traded alternative assets. So you'll notice here that we're not even seeing mention of Wealthsimple. So to me, that tells me something right away, that even though for Wealthsimple, they're the majority shareholder, for Power Corporation of Canada, it's a small investment. It's a small investment from them. So Wealthsimple you could put, if Wealthsimple were to IPO, and let's say tomorrow they doubled in price, it may not have that much of an impact as you might think on Power Corporation of Canada, because it looks to me like, and this is just, I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to try a couple of other things here. Yeah, like they don't even have links. Alternative asset management. Let's go to this here and see if I can. Like I'd like to know what percentage it is, but right now there's nothing. The fact that they don't even show up on the website, it speaks volumes to me. It doesn't make up a big proportion of their business. Now, if you're investing in POW, are you investing in Wealthsimple? Yeah, but not as much as you probably think. All right. Prairie says both across platform. Windows 95 for the win. My favorite Windows was Windows 2000. I liked Windows 2000. All right, eject. Linux can run on live CD without install, but Pop! OS or Linux Mint are good for beginners. Okay. Ian says, I like this on a video. Bank Rock will eventually bring cost base to zero. How many years until that happens? 10 years? 25? Mathematically, what would you guess? I don't think. Here's the problem. I don't think, for one, you wouldn't be able. I mean, you could get to zero. Theoretically, you can get to zero. You can't go beyond zero, though. So once you get to zero, then any rock would just become taxed right away. So you kind of lose that whole being able to put it aside, kind of defer it. It depends. Like if you're not buying any new, like a lot of people are still investing, right? You're still adding more. Every time you add more, it's going to be at a higher amount, and it's going to increase that. So, even if you add 10 shares of bank here and there, that's going to then pull your adjusted cost base back up again. But yeah, if you took let's say you just had 100 shares of bank, you left it alone forever, how long would it take to get to zero? Many, many, many years, probably. There are other things as well that could certainly happen along the way. But yeah, I mean, hypothetically, you could get to zero, but it would take a long time. 10 years, 20 years, I don't know. I don't know. I would probably say closer to, let's split the middle and say 15 years. But this is, once again, I'm pulling that number out of my butt. There's a lot of factors that sort of work in on that. Scott says DaVinci Resolve can run on Linux. Oh, can it? Okay. I've never used DaVinci, but I know a lot of people like it. I use Final Cut Pro. One of the reasons I use Final Cut Pro is like you buy it once and you have it for life. Now there is a subscription model for it as well, but if you bought it for life, but you also have the option, you can just buy it straight out if you want. The subscription model has a few other things attached. Yeah, guys, we're halfway to adding a Tuesday show. Hey, Tom, welcome. Is anyone else having problems with the AVG cost on some of their ETFs in Wealthsimple? Just notice my Utes is showing an average of 821, which should be 943. Also, HHIS is about $1 a share lower. Well, that's interesting. I would, honestly, Tom, I would reach out to their customer service and see if there's something going on there. Because, yeah, I would definitely do that. Paul says I upgraded my Samsung S24 Ultra to the late S5. One UI software, they changed the calculator app, button locations like backspace and brackets drives me crazy. Oh, I know. I know. One day I'll upgrade to Dogpile. Ooh, I used to love Dogpile. I absolutely loved Dogpile. So good. Kelly says, Wealthsimple announced access to IPOs for little investors like me. I will watch for their very own IPO to try it out. Yes. Now, I think it was, I think King of Day was mentioning as well that you're locked in, though, for about 90 days. I think you can't sell it for 90 days, but, a lot of times if you're jumping into an IPO, you don't want to sell it anyway. You're there for a little bit of a longer haul. Obviously, the next big one is SpaceX. SpaceX that some people might want to get in on. I was going to say RoboPaul. There we go. RoboPaul says, Robinhood finalized their purchase of Canadian WonderFi. Does that mean Robinhood coming to Canada? Acquired assets will gain ownerships of subsidiaries, including BitBuy, CoinSquare, and SmartPay. That's a great question. That is a really great. So WonderFi, obviously, that one was associated with Kevin O'Leary. So could that mean Robinhood is coming to Canada? I would say it means that it's a possibility. I haven't heard anything finalized as to Robinhood coming to Canada, but maybe. What would the Canadian Robinhood look like? That's interesting. Would it be the same? Maybe they'd rebrand. Now they wouldn't rebrand it. You want to keep the name. I wouldn't be surprised to see Robinhood in Canada. Lance says, interesting if true reports say Iranian President Pezeshkian submitted a resignation letter after being sidelined by Iran's power structure, but there still doesn't appear to be official confirmation. Oh, interesting. You know what? We can take a quick look. Like, if that's the type of news that if it's legit, it should be showing up. All right. Well, actually, let's go to news. It helps if I go to the news. We'll start with Drudge. Dire warning to Dems. MAGA rally. Oh boy. So yeah, so they would jump this one if it's legit. They would jump all over it. Drudge report. But then again, sometimes on the weekend they don't update as fast. So we'll just take a quick look at CNN as well, just to see. Iran's reopened missile sites show limits of U.S. bombing. Power struggles in FEMA. Bulldozers. Yeah, Trump sent back Iran deal text with changes. Yeah. So yeah, we're not seeing too much here. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, Lance, for sure. Rory, is it too late to start a position in Div? Should have done it last year. So Div, let's go take a look, guys. We'll leave. So Div, this is I love Div. I love Div. This is our diversified royalty. Wow, look at this. They were up 1.031%. All right. So this has been, I'm going to go to the 10-year. So back in the day in the pandemic, I loved this stock. I still love it. You know, they hold a bunch of royalties. They've expanded on some of them, but they've always been reliable, you know, basically from about 275 to $3. They were always in that zone, other than here's the pandemic, but yet they recovered quickly from the pandemic. But now you'll notice they have exploded. And why? Because they've added more royalties. They got a really big one, Cheba Hut. So Cheba Hut is a, well, they make subs. They make subs, and I think they also provide some hemp products as well. I don't know if there's hemp food or what. Apparently, you can eat hemp. I've had hemp cereal before. But yeah, so they, with this new one, they've absolutely exploded. Now they already own Mr. Lube's royalty, but apparently they've now picked up the tires part of Mr. Lube. So now it's Mr. Lube and tires. So they've been doing really, really fantastic. So is it too late to get in? Well, I look at it this way. Like, I think that they're going to be steady. I think we're going to find a new place that they oscillate between. My best guess is probably 380 to maybe, oh gosh, they're almost up to $5. So I would almost, you know what? It's probably going to be something like between $4 and $5 maybe that they'll move back and forth between. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, maybe the way they've been going lately, if they keep up, maybe things will be going bigger. But here's the nice part about this. So a little stock, $4.90 right now. But look at this, their dividend yield. Now, this used to be a high yield, but because they've exploded in value so much, it's come down quite a bit. So right now it's 5.816%, but I still love this little stock. It's pretty good. I've got, I don't know, I think 120 of these in the 0 to 100K challenge. Yeah, if they were to retreat, I would certainly add some more. But I will say, next month I've got a very interesting theme. So not the one coming out on Tuesday, but next month I'm gonna do one where I only buy things that are doing really well. And I'll explain when we get closer to it what my goal is with it. But it's gonna shake things up a little bit. So it's gonna destroy a couple of the all-time highs. So for example, if you look at bird construction, the all-time high is like 180% or something. Well, if I start buying at these crazy high prices, it's going to push my adjusted cost base up quite a bit. So it's actually going to knock down that total return because of the new shares bought. So I'm going to be doing that in the following month. And I guess it's all going to come back to that one question I get. You know, I can't buy, it's at all-time highs. So we're going to do some buying at all-time highs. You know, just as a, I don't want to call it an experiment, but more of a, just to address it. Anyway, that's a month away. So, all right. Tom says, I did reach out to customer service. Nothing till tomorrow. Just wondered if anyone else noticed the same problem. Yeah. Have any of you guys noticed anything like that? Ian says, I'm going to need to know when the adjusted cost base will hit 0 on my covered call ETFs and my non-registered. I want to drain my RRSP before this happens. Don't want to be senile and holding a tax grenade. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, that's a great question. I mean, what you would have to, and this is the thing, and I guess you got time though, Ian. This is kind of what I would do, I think, is I would look at my adjusted cost base. Now, mind you, here's that thing. Once again, if you're still adding to it, it's going to throw it up. Like, it's going to wreck the data. That's the problem. Because if you're adding to it, you know, you basically are raising your number. So as long as you're adding to it, you're not going to get anything. I don't think you'll get any usable data. But I was going to say, if you had, like, let's say you had your final number of shares. Let's say you had 10,000 shares and that's it. I would then look at it, and you'd probably take a few years to do this. I would look at it and see how much your adjusted cost base is falling on average over the next couple of years. Maybe get an average of those two numbers and then plot that forward. That might be how I would do it. But you would need to have that data. You would definitely need to have that data. And I wonder if you could, I mean, theoretically, if you were to go and trace the rock back over the last couple of years, you might be able to sort of to eyeball that out. Let me think more about it. I've never even thought about that, to be honest. Bismarcky says, Harvest has filed a preliminary prospectus for SpaceX covered call ETF. Yes, I've heard that. That's pretty exciting. And what's really funny is I made a space video. And I did not include that because it happened after I filmed and edited it. I was like, no. That space video, I think, is coming out on Friday. Ian says, the more competition Wealthsimple has, the better. I might start jumping back and forth for the 1% match like I used to do with cable providers getting great discounts. Okay, fair enough. Ian says, Div has had great growth plus a dividend increase, pays monthly. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if they keep doing what they're doing, you'll probably see even more dividend increases along the way. Eject. Wealthsimple needs to support non-resident Canadians. I would leave Questrade in a hurry if that happens. Yeah, I would agree. 100%. I don't know what the reasoning is. I think it's probably some kind of a regulatory thing that's preventing them from doing that. But as they continue to build more and more on the financial side, maybe that will become a limitation that goes away. I hope so. Scott says, every time you say Chiba Hut, I think of Chia Pet. Oh boy, want to hear something funny? So one year, I was trying to find a gift for my mom when I was a kid. So I bought her a Chia Pet. And Christmas morning, she opened up the Chia Pet. She looked at it. Then she looked at me and she was like, do you still have the receipt? I was just like, it was crushing as a kid. I thought it was so funny because, you know, you used to see him on TV like Chia. And I was like, I thought she'd love it. But she didn't like it at all. And hopefully she's not watching, because if my mom were watching right now, I don't think she watches the show, but she'd be like, how could you embarrass me by telling that story? So Michael says FIS looks cheap. That raised dividend from 40 to 44 with low PE around 8. FIS. I feel like I should know this one. I think it's like a fastener company. Am I right? No, I'm not. It's Fidelity National Information Services. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I don't know a lot about. I do not know a lot of. Oh boy, but they've now. If you're talking about shorting a company, this might be a target. Let's actually. Once again, I always like to zoom out. All right. Let's zoom out further. Yeah, they've certainly. I mean, yeah, since since about 2021, they've certainly been struggling a little bit for sure. Rory says $50. Paul, I have shares of NASA ETFs, which has SpaceX through a SPV and is listed as cost price only. When SPCX IPOs, the real value will be accounted for. A good question. I'm not entirely sure. I would think that would certainly come into play. Logically, it should come into play. But yeah, that's interesting. I haven't run into that before, but I think that would be the case. Ian says, I'm not really adding it to my non-registered account. Look at Golf that pays 18 cents each month. Golf. What's Golf? Michael, you find these interesting companies, that's for sure. Golf. Guggenheim Strategic Opportunity Fund of Beneficial Interest. Guggenheim. Okay, interesting. What does this do? They're a closed-end management investment company. Okay. Global asset management. All right, that's cool. I mean, this is kind of what Canoe does, really. Here, let's take a look at the 1 year and see if they, well, okay, they've not been doing what Canoe has. They're kind of like Canoe, but if we had a hole in it. And I don't mean that to be mean, Michael. I'm just saying they certainly have been struggling a wee bit. 18 cents a month, not bad, but I'd be a little concerned as to why they're falling as much as they are. Now that's on the 1 year. Let's just go to the 3 year. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I'm not sure about this one. I'm just even looking at the 5 year. I mean, it's been nothing but a downward trend. I'd be careful with this one. You know me, when I get anything that provides me any kind of income, I don't like it to be going in the opposite direction of the markets. All right, guys, we are halfway to adding a show on on Monday? On tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, on the tomorrow day. Lance says, future should start updating soon. I hope this is a good week. They should actually. Future start usually around 6, so in about 11 minutes. Ian, most of the payout on bank is ROC. Can I just divide average price by the distribution, 890 divided by 0.32 to find the zero date? Or is it more complicated? Sorry for the on-the-spot question. You could do that. I don't know if that would be 100% accurate. I'll try, Ian, I'll take a look and see if there's an exact formula out there that we can use. Because, yeah, there might be a more accurate way to do it. But, yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. Let's see. Found a new company I will be keeping my eyes on, and it's still new. BRM. BRM. Well, let's take a look. All right. BioRem. Okay. I like the name. I like the name. So let's pull up BioRem. All right. So, all right. New company. I have no idea what it does. Before I look at it, we can play our game show. Welcome to this edition of Candace's Guesses What a Stock Does without knowing anything about the company, just from the title. So BioRem. All right, so we got bio, so biology. We got REM, rapid eye movement. Hold on. All right, so this is a company that's all about biological strategies for better sleep. There we go. I'm going to be very wrong on this probably, but let's see what this company is now. All right. I think I'm wrong right away. Environmental Biotechnology Company. So yeah, they design, manufacture, and distribute a comprehensive line of air emissions control systems to eliminate odors, volatile organic compounds, and hazardous air pollutants. Okay. I was completely wrong on this one. Other than I got the bio part, but yeah, all right. So yeah, no, that sounds kind of interesting. I like that idea. I like that, like biotricking filters. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Well, there's a lot of pollution out there, so I can see the interest in what in what they hold. First of all, now that we've looked at that, let's go back in here and take a look. Oh, they're profitable. Well, this is a surprise. I like this. So right now, yeah, they have 25% debt to equity, but look at this. Their return on equity, not bad, 19.03%. So yeah, their back end doesn't look too shabby at all. How much are they worth? I didn't actually look at how much they were worth. I was too obsessed over guessing what they did. Okay, 314. So they're sort of a yeah, they're penny adjacent because they've got the penny stock price on the back end here of the 3 year. Well, I'd say yeah, they're penny adjacent. They're officially penny adjacent. So 314. They have been moving up. So yeah, that's not bad. That might be a good one there, Lance. All right, now before we go any further, we've got a super sticker coming in from Sky 149 that releases Space Goat. Space Goat's in the building, and we are one away from adding a show tomorrow. And we still got about 30 minutes or so left of the show, so I think we got time. Tom, I should dump a lot of these ETFs with the wrong low average and see what happens. Well, that is one way to get rid of it. Yeah. Now, are you holding, let me ask you this, are you holding it in a non-registered account? Because I'm going to assume, because honestly, I don't even look at my adjusted cost base in my, if it's in a TFSA, unless of course, I look at it just to see if I am buying it a bit cheaper. That's kind of one area that I look at, because I do like to buy, if the adjusted cost base is lower than my adjusted cost base, or sorry, if the spot price is under my adjusted cost base, that's always a good buy, because it is averaging me down. But all right. Oh, guys, we got a brand new member. Income Investing has joined the membership. That, folks, that is a goat. That is our Professor Goat. So we got a show. Tomorrow's show is now added to the book. So we'll be able to do bingo tomorrow. I love it. Yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern for that. Or sorry, 3:45. So no, 3:30. 3:30. We used to start at 3:45 Eastern, but now we moved it a little while ago. So to give us more time. But yeah, so thank you, Income Investing, for joining the channel memberships. And Income, you will also gain access to videos one day early. So you get, the channel members get to see shows a whole day ahead of everybody else. And you also get access to After Hours, which is our 7 p.m. show about nothing. It's our show about nothing. We do that on Tuesdays. Now, the first one, guys, everybody can go to this one on Tuesday. So the first one of every month is open to everybody. But then the rest of them are channel members only. And, we make, well, the last few of them, we made some emoticons. If one of you channel members want to just show a few of those emoticons, because the channel members also get exclusive emoticons, which is kind of cool. All right. And Paul says, one-time CRA payment of up to $533. The Canada Revenue Agency will issue a one-time GST HST credit top-up payment starting Friday, June 5th. If your household has almost any income, you do not qualify. If your household has almost any income? Well, that's weird. So wait a minute. You're saying, so if you have a household and you have no income, then you're getting $533? That's kind of strange. All right, Rory, isn't it 50% of your GST annual pay? And Tom, these all seem to be in my non-registered. HHIS at 113 should be 1225. My second largest holding, sell, take the money and run. Yeah, there's that. Holy cow. I find that kind of weird. Michael FISV made profits of 179. Was a 21 beat, and software and GPN and FIS been going up. Now, FISV, I don't think I looked at that one. Let's take a look at that one, Michael. FISV. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, Fiserva. Oh, here we go. So they had a good, they were up 1.301% there on Friday. And let's take a look here. All right, but what is this? Why? I'm taking a look. I think, Michael, I have a feeling that you're looking for deals. You're looking for companies who are down that should hopefully be coming back up. That's what I think you're looking for. Because yeah, this is definitely down. And honestly, it's probably here. Okay, we're pulling this out. So if you look at where they're at right now, the last time they were here was back here in 2017. So they're definitely down a bit. And I can't say definitively that they won't fall any further than where they are, but it's interesting. Now, keep in mind too, this is probably, this here is probably hype. So you know how I like to draw that straight line? That straight line here would probably put their fair price right now at about, I'd say, $130. So they're down, a little more than half at that point. So they're not down as much. If you're comparing it to here, it looks like they're way, way down. And let's look at the back end on this one. I'm kind of curious to see what this back end is going to look like. All right, well, okay, they are profitable. Return on equity, 12.129%. They do have a fair amount of debt, 111% debt to equity. So that basically means that for every dollar that they own, they have $1.11 in debt. They're $1.11 in debt. So interesting. Yeah, they have a fair amount of debt. What do they do? What do they do here? I feel like I should know this one. Whoops. Let's go back to the overview. Let's see. Global leader uniting commerce and finance, the intersection of banking and commerce. Okay, so that's a solid. I mean, that's a solid. What is it? I was going to say they're in a solid sector, but I also keep in mind that they're not in the Canadian sector. They're in the U.S. sector. So that's a little bit more volatility, I think, than the Canadian sector, but nonetheless, they could be okay. Paul says, I meant if there was 2 working adults earning at least minimum wage, they do not qualify. Okay. But what does that mean? If you have 1 working adult at minimum wage, they would qualify? I have to look in on this one. I wasn't sure. Like, this is not, Paul, this is not the grocery one, right? This is something else, something new? Because I haven't, I'm kind of coming up at a loss here on what this is. Rory, let's see. I thought the rebate was for people who make less than $38,000 a year. I have to read up on it. Our household has never received a GST rebate. Okay, because I understand that with the grocery rebate, if you don't qualify for the GST, you don't qualify for the grocery rebate. So that's the one thing I know. All right, Brent is moving. Oh gosh, let's take a look. All right. We're heading over here to oil. Here we go. So let's see here. All right, yeah, we got a little bit here on Brent. Brent gapped up a tiny, tiny bit. And that makes sense. Because you know what? We went into the weekend thinking we would have a deal, and we don't. So I would not be surprised to see a little bit of movement on oil. But you guys don't want to see a big movement to the upside on oil. Not with the bingo card you guys have. With that bingo card you guys have, you want to see oil. You want to see oil go down a little bit, to be honest. All right. Oh, I'm going to turn off the Financial Express because we do have a show tomorrow. All right. Bang. There we go. Sounds like someone needs votes. Oh, boy. They turned the GST rebate into the grocery rebate. But that's just a one-time thing, I thought. That was my understanding, Paul, is that the grocery rebate was going to be a one-time thing. I don't know what this other thing that you're talking about is, though, from the CRA. I mean, are we talking about the same thing? Is that the credit or the thing that you were talking about? Is that the grocery rebate? Scott said, took a beat. I was thinking, who's Brent? I must have missed his post. That's hilarious. Silver dropping. Yeah, like, look, let's just pull this down a little bit here. So right now we can see we've got gold is down a little bit. Silver's down quite a bit. Look at this. Yeah, but it's recovering. Like, it gapped. It went down. It wicked down quite a bit. Now let's see how it does. So what? Yeah, I'd like tomorrow, guys. I'd like to have a very green day tomorrow. So that way there, it'll be an easy bingo. It'll be an easy bingo, hopefully. Yeah, and copper is down. Copper's only down about 0.1. Platinum's actually holding steady. But you'll notice that they all wicked down a bit, and then they pulled back up. So we'll keep our eyes. We'll keep our eyes on it. And obviously, right now, we got, that WTI is up currently 1.05%. I know it's red, but it gapped up, and it's just red up at the top. Well, now it's green. Brent's up 0.80, but there's lots of time. Paul, uranium list in your watch list or lithium? Yeah, I don't know if I have a good amount to uranium. Let me just take a look. I wonder, because of the way uranium is sold, I don't know how accurate some of this stuff would be. Like, there is a lot of uranium companies, but you see, we got this one here. I'd have to take a look and see what this is. I don't know if I would trust this as the spot price of uranium. But let's see here. Kelly, are you doing another Pioneers of Income Investing episode? I'd like to. I have to. I really need to reach out to Adriano and see if tell him to get his butt in gear and make them more frequent, because I think people like them. I think people like them quite a bit. Silver's dropping. Where do I get them? Where do you get silver droppings? Well, you have to find that new Terminator, the one from the second movie, and just follow him around with a broom and a scoop. I don't know. I'm just Motley Fool says sell oil. All right, so buy oil. No, Scott said the same thing. Simon says don't trust Motley Fool. I agree. I agree with Simon, guys. Get the PSLV. There we go. PSLV. Let's pull that up here. PSLV. Here we go. Sprott Physical Silver Trust. And Sprott also has, they have a uranium one as well. So if you're looking for a uranium, but yeah, I like Sprott. I mean, Sprott has, when it comes to, commodities, Sprott's pretty good. And you can sort of see the struggles, like right here. This is the struggle that silver has had recently since here. And this is, well, we all know what this is. It's like Donald Trump messing with the world. He needs to stop. He does need to stop. Scott, I think you follow around the Lone Ranger, Rory. There you go. That's another type of silver dropping for sure. Tonto is ahead of me. Oh boy, the Lone Ranger. Kelly says, you keep saying the fool's name and you are going to start getting phone calls about Bitcoin. Which fool? The Motley Fool or Donald Trump? I'm just saying. I'm just saying it could be either. It could go either way. It could go either way. I'm not sure. Oh gosh. Guys. What can I say? All right. Whoops. We'll come back here. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're starting to get some movement to the upside. WTI up 2%, Brent up 1.5. This is what we don't want to see. We don't want oil moving up because that could push a lot of things down. It's hard to say, The Canadian market is it's so interesting because obviously energy is a big key part of the TSX. So sometimes energy going up can still be good. But we don't want to see a situation where energy goes up and materials goes down. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. So we'll see how that is going to look. All right, Michael says, bought GPN around $66. That has rally up base in Atlanta, Georgia. That has been going up since I bought that. The others have major support where I bought that. Beat earnings being software was the problem. Okay, GPN, let's take a look. Let's take a look at GPN. I don't know what GPN is. Or I might know. Global payments. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know a lot about global payments. Let's see. They're up 2.11%. So I'm coming into this one fresh. This is fresh. All right, let's take a look and see what we got. Let's pull up the 1 year. Okay, so yeah, they've had a lot of volatility, but they have had a big movement to the downside. So, that's fine. That's fine. We've had a shaky year. What can I say? Let's take a look on the larger scale. Oh, well, this is not looking good. So I would be a little concerned because they've been going down for a long time. That does make me concerned a little bit for sure. All right, let's go into the back end, see if there's anything. Yeah, this gets me really concerned, Michael. Look at this. They're not profitable. So negative 3.06 on the return on equity. Their debt to equity ratio 99%. So they got a good amount of debt. That's fine for a financial company, but this part I don't like. So I would want to know why they're unprofitable right now. Where is that cash flow going? So that's kind of the questions I would be asking about this company. So I'd be a little careful with this one. Ian says, I want that Monday show. Well, we already have the Monday show, Ian. It's already been decided. But nonetheless, thank you for the $2.79 super sticker. But oh boy, here we go. Ian, you've unlocked something. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I'm almost lightheaded right now because that was so funny. That's our that's our cat on a goat. That's the new one. That's the new one. Oh gosh. Sorry. I just find that one really funny. Oh. Sorry. Oh, okay. I need to get that out of my head. All right, let's close the door. Close the door on that. Ian says, "Whoops! At least I get a goat." You sure did. You sure did. King of Day. LOL. That's a fun one. Rory says, "Meow." Oh shit. Sorry. Whoops. There you go, guys. I just swore. Kelly says LOL. Whew. Oh my gosh. All right. Oh gosh. Michael says GPN has made over $6 for the first 2 quarters of this year. That pays for a 25-cent dividend with a book value of 87.03 and a PE of 20. Yeah, but you know what the thing is though? They're still not profitable right now. So when I look at this, I'm not saying that they're an unprofitable company. There could be a reason for that. And that's what I'm saying. That's where you want to do your homework. You want to find out why. Why are they currently unprofitable? Where is that cash flow going? You know, did they expand? Did they do anything? Where did that money go? Follow the money, find out where it's going, make sure that you're okay with that, you know, because, you know, it could be a situation like there, you know, this is a nice looking dividend. What is it? It's quarterly. Okay. So yeah, it's a half decent dividend, but you know, is it too high? You know, what is, and you know what, let's take a look. GPN, let's go to Yahoo Finance here for a second. How sustainable is that dividend? That's kind of the question I have. And if we go over here to Yahoo, let's put in GPN. Here we go. Global payments. We're going to come over here. We're going to go over to statistics. And then we're just going to scroll down here. And what we're looking for is their payout ratio. Okay, now this is good news. You see, this is what I'm saying. Like, this here is actually good news. So their payout ratio is 36.76%. So yeah, the dividend's not the problem. It's sustainable. So they have a cash flow that will sustain that that dividend. So that makes me think they had to have done something to get that negative cash flow. So maybe they've invested it in something, but I would still want to know. You know, if I was going to put any major amount of money into them, I'd want to know what's going on. And so that's kind of where I definitely would say to do for sure. All right. Ian says, new homework project, make more goats if I knew how to. If I knew how to make them, I would make a few and send them to Discord. Yeah, I mean, if any of you guys know how to make goat videos, if you want to send them to Discord, if they're, you know, I don't mind. I'll use some of your goats. I'm fine with that. Rory, the kitty up goat. Yep, kitty up goat. I love it. All right. CBC News, breaking news. Goat cats invade the Canadian countryside. Cows are concerned and presumed scared. Yikes. Yeah. I can see that. Goat ideas. A goat rock band. Ooh. Surfing goat. Beach goat. Goat in a china shop. You know what would be kind of funny is to have 4 cute goats in the, that Bohemian Rhapsody where they had the 4 of them in the beginning, kind of in the triangle-like shape. That would be kind of fun. Samantha says, LOL, Rory. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, if you got your last-minute questions, we got about 15 minutes left. Well, about 14. If you distract me, we go longer. That's just the way it works. But, yeah, absolutely. Let's bring in those last-minute questions. Get them on in. We'll get to everything before all is up and said and done. First, we need the goat. Oh yes, the goat busters. Oh yes, that would be kind of cool. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I know exactly what image I want. I've just got to find an image creator to make it. I'm not going to tell you guys because it'll be a surprise. But I know what I want. I know what I want for that. Huh. Can I make it happen? That's a good question. I hope so, because I think it could actually be incredibly funny. Will it make me laugh? Probably. It's actually, believe it or not, it's not that hard to make me laugh. Samantha says, imagine that 3 goats dressed in Ghostbuster uniforms. Well, there's technically 4 Ghostbusters, but I got a thought. I got a thought on the Ghostbuster one. That's not it. That's not the thought. But well, I'll see if I can make it happen. I'll see if I can make it happen because I think it would be hilarious. Oh boy, what can I say? Oh, I'm gonna have some coffee. Whew, very good. Paul with the board goat. I love it. So the board goat, this is actually one of the ones we made. So the board goat is, that one is for any time I forget to share the screen. So I've now gotten to this case where once I share the screen, I try to just stay here because, it makes it easier. It makes it easier. Let's see here. Mountie goat. Ooh, there we go. That's an interesting one. A Mountie goat. The 50 Cent and Bolo Young AI meme is funny. I don't know what that meme is. Is it, well, let's, you know what, here. Let me see. Let's go to another edition of Candace Google stuff. Where is my Google? I don't know where Google is anymore. We'll go here. Nope, that's stabilizing videos. All right, let's, I'll just put Google over top of this. All right, 50 Cent. Oh boy, I hope this is safe for stream. 50 Cent and Bolo. Let's see. 50 Cent Bolo. Look at that. 50 Cent Bologna. 50 Cent Bolo Young. All right. EUNG. I'm going to put meme. Let's just see what we get. All right. Images. Let's see here. There's a few of them. Which one? I do not know. Oh, gosh. Chinese Hercules. No, that's probably not it. You are next. Yeah, I don't know which one it is. You know what, Eject, if you are over on the Discord, throw it up on the Discord. We'll take a look at it over there. Luke says gas is $2 a liter in Victoria. Wow. Lots of insider buying on 4. I don't know what 4 is. Gosh. You're bringing a lot of them today, Michael. Michael. What is 4? 4. 4. Oh, shift 4 payments. You really like financial companies, Michael. I've noticed this. But let's take a look here. First of all, let's go to the 3-year on this one. All right, once again, they've been moving down quite a bit. Well, we're seeing a lot of this in financial. So one of the things I would want to do as well, Michael, before if I was interested in U.S. financial companies, and I will admit I'm not that interested in them, um, I would look at how this whole sector's been doing. And so, that way if I had a benchmark, it makes it a little bit easier to figure things out. So yeah, this is an interesting one. Let me just take a quick look at the back end here. So, all right, a lot of debt, 277%, but higher debt to equity is it's kind of normal in financials. So I do give it a bit of leeway. 4.99 on return on equity. So they are profitable, not by much. I'd like to see that number a little higher. Rory, would goats eat Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? I don't know. Do goats eat marshmallows? I mean, is there anything goats don't eat? Might be the better question. How about a gas station goat? Corner goat. Sorry, I think that just makes, that's funny. AI face mashup. Let's see, they totally would. He's a treat. Paul says our toy fox furrier, our terrier, ex-chihuahua, is high drive and wants a walk every day. The dog will stand on the back of the couch with rear feet and front feet on the wife's back, wanting to go to the dog park. Oh, there we are. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's in YouTube. Okay, all right. I'm not going to show it because I'll get a copyright strike. That anytime I've shown even a little clip, I get a strike. I'm like, I just won't go there. All right. Oh, guys, we have a gifted membership coming in from Wahipple. Freaking one. Congratulations, Freakin', and thank you, Wahipple. And that brings out our gardening goat. It's like the goats keep going. Oh, mean gardening goat. But there we go. Now that one has sound. Somebody told me that the cat one doesn't have sound, and I'm like, no, why couldn't it have given it sound? Because I would have liked to have heard the goat making a meow and the cat going meow meow and putting them anyway. Maybe I could make a soundtrack and just add it. I'll make all the animal sounds myself. It could happen. It may not, but it could. Rory, yeah, I have to figure out what's for dinner. Bolo Young is frail and old now. Oh, that explains the two. All right, understood. Lisa says it's old news, but can you tell me what's really going on with Mark Carney and the CPP? Hearing different things, but not sure what to believe. Was reading a conversation in a chat earlier today. That's a great question. I have not heard anything. The only thing I've heard recently about the CPP is they reported that they made like, I think it was for 2025, a little over 7%. But I haven't heard anything in regards to Mark Carney and the CPP. So anything I said at this from going forward from here would be 100% speculation. But I haven't heard anything. And that, if there was something there, I would expect to have heard it because that's type, I do a lot of searching through that type of material because of the show. But I haven't heard anything, Lisa. Chia goat. Ooh, Tim Hortons goat. Chia goat. I like it. The Arnold Schwarzenegger goat. Oh boy. Yep. That's a goat that would keep on coming back. Let's see. Lisa says, a while back, rumors were going around that he borrowed against it, but I don't think it was possible for a PM to do that. I don't think that's possible either. I've never heard of that happening, Lisa. I'm thinking that, you know what? It's kind of this whole thing. Like when you look at, and I'm not attacking the right. I don't want this to sound like an attack on the right. I know a lot of you guys are on the right. That's fantastic. I am a small C conservative myself. Great. But I think sometimes, and this will happen on the left if the conservatives were in power right now, it happens on the left too. But you do get some elements in there that will sometimes just sort of make some pretty crazy claims just to discredit the other side. I think that might be what we're looking at here. Now, maybe if there's a grain of truth in there, I haven't heard it. But there's a lot. There's a lot of, and it goes both ways, guys. I want to be very clear. Like, the left does it to the right does it to the left. It happens both directions. It doesn't matter who's in power. The other side, a small contingent of the other side will make up stuff. It happens. It happens. So this is what that sounds like, Lisa. But I will say, I don't have definitive proof of that either, because this is the first time I've ever heard of it. I've never heard a thing, which is, to me, is the biggest proof that perhaps you take it with a grain of salt. But I'll keep my eyes. I'll keep my eyes open. I'll keep my eyes open for sure. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Bean Goat. Ooh, that'd be kind of creepy. Income investing, but funny. Roast goat. Let's see. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Lots of rage farming. Isn't Canada still a British colony? Well, I don't think we're technically a British colony. We're still part of the British Commonwealth. And even the king, even though the king is technically the head of Canada, it's more of a traditional thing than anything else. There's not really a lot of power there for the king or for the British. Goat Norris. That's a goat I wouldn't mess with. Colony. The PM has an oath to the king and doesn't work for Canadians. Yeah. Once again, Paul, we're not a colony. Not anymore. We used to be, but right now, like I said, the king is more of just a figurehead. That's it. He doesn't have a lot. Like, if anything, even the governor, like, I don't think we need, like, I know that we got the tradition of a governor general. I don't think we really need the governor general. I think we're beyond that, but that's fine. Paul says Canada in managed decline. Well, I hope not. Income investing. I love this. It's a QQQ. I love the QQQs. What do you think of HHIS from Harvest? Thinking of taking a significant position and would like your take. Okay, so HHIS, of course, that being their diversified high income shares. So what I like about it is they have a lot of high income shares. So when you look at all of the different ones, they're all single stock. There are single stock ETFs. So that they come with a certain amount of risk because of that. You guys all know MSTE, for example. You get a lot of volatility in there. Now, what I like about HHIS is it has most of them. Oh, excuse me. But it holds most of them. So that there is giving you that diversification. So it is heavy on tech. So first of all, you'd have to say, all right, do I have conviction in tech? If you do, all right, there's one check mark for you. It has done fairly well. You're not going to get, keep in mind, it's not designed to give you growth. It is designed to give you income, and you are going to get that income. You should still have a pretty half-decent total return on it. So I'll give you one example here. Let's give me a second here. All right. Oops. That's not what I meant to click. I meant to click. Let's give me a sec here. Oops. Oh, let's put that back up. All right, let's pull this over. This is the 0 to 100K challenge. So I do have HHIS in here, and I just want to sort of show. So through the length of the challenge, now I got in at a really good point. So I got in with an adjusted cost base. So basically $11 would have been my average cost. And so for me right now, the return on investment 10.82, total return 30.12%. So yeah, I mean, for me it's been profitable, obviously. But yeah, I do like it. I like it. I think it's a good. I like it. We also mentioned earlier Q-Day as well. That's another good one to look at. Like, if you're not going to go with HHIS, I would certainly look at Q-Day. Q-Day has been doing really good as well. So there's two of them. There's two of them for sure. A Grizzly says we are free. Nice. Just lots of conspiracy theories. Yeah. Oh, and I love listening to conspiracy theories. And you know, occasionally, I believe occasionally a conspiracy theory might actually be true. Which ones? That's the question. And you're never going to really know until probably years after the fact. So, you know, but take them with a grain of salt. That's what I always say. Gursky, a Donald Trump goat. He could be the best goat, maybe the greatest goat of all time. Well, if anybody knows how to get our goat, it's definitely Donald Trump. What can I say? All right. And with saying that, guys, we have hit 2 hours and 30 minutes. We're coming to an end here. Once again, this is a fantastic show. You guys were awesome as usual. And of course, huge shout outs to all of the gifted subs. Samantha was in there. We also, of course, had new channel member Income Investing and Wahipple. And then we had the supers, Samantha in there again, and Sky and Ian. So awesome, awesome, awesome. So we'll be back here again tomorrow for market close. Let's see what the market brings. I can't wait. Let's see if we get a bingo. I can't wait. I said I can't wait too many times. So I won't say it again. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, I got 2 words I wanted to say before I take off out of here. And, oh, well, actually, I can't do that yet. Just give me a second. My intro video was gone. Like, where did the intro video go? All right, I'm just re-adding it. There we go. Intro video back in. So I will say those 2 words. Bye-bye.